Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Trafalgar Girls business sessions. Today, we are welcoming Julia Splavska in our expert business session. So far, we've got 3 types of sessions in Trafalgar Girls Business. The first type of session, like today, is the expert session, where we invite an expert in a particular field to tell us some interesting information about anything about the world of work or business. Another type of session that we already had meetings on is insider session, where Julia technically qualifies for that one as well, where we invite Ukrainian refugee or not a refugee who's working in an interesting role in an interesting sphere, and where they tell us about what it's like to be in this role, what it's like to be in this particular industry, and specifically if people worked in Ukraine, how does this compare between 2 different countries? And the third session, which we'll introduce next month, which will be the first type, it will be a pitch session. So we'll invite you, if you've got your own business or you've got a business idea, and to give everyone a 5-minute pitch about what you are doing or what you want to do, and maybe find yourself some buddies and on your journey, etc. So that will be a trial session next month. We are recording this session, and we'll add it to our YouTube library, so you'll be able to rewatch it later on. So welcome, Julia. Julia is the employment and HR expert from a law point of view. So you're a fellow Ukrainian, fellow refugee. So it sounds like a very, very inspiring story that you're showing us by presenting here and telling us everything that we need to know about the employee life cycle. Over to you, Julia.
Thank you. Let me just try to share my screen. Okay, can you let me know, please, if you can see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, let's go. So, my name is Julia Splavska. I am an employment law expert. I also work with HR issues, and they are very closely connected. First of all, what I wanted to say, what is quick, is thank you to Katya and Trafalgar Girls for inviting me today. It's a pleasure to come and speak to you. It's also my third session in English. So it is a kind of challenge for me, try to conduct whole session in English, but let's see. I hope you will enjoy it, and I hope that today you will take something very useful for yourself. At the end of the session, we will have 10 minutes for questions. So if you have any questions, please write them now in the chat box, and I will answer them later. Or just keep your questions until the end, and we will go through them. Okay. What we will speak today about. First question that I wanted to discuss with you is a job search. If you could write in chat box, are you looking for a job at the current moment, or you are employed? If you don't mind, I will just look while I'm speaking. I will just look who I have more job seekers or already who is working. So we will speak about job search, and my favorite kind of job search is LinkedIn. I managed to settle my LinkedIn settings in that way that I very often receive invitations from recruiters for job interviews. And I will share with you some tips that you can use if you are looking for a job. Then we will speak about right work check. Everyone who was employed definitely went through this. We will speak about employment contracts. We will speak about minimum pay that employee can get. We will speak about sick pay and I will tell you about some changes in law upcoming. So we will be very up to date because it is last week's changes with the bill employment right bill. We also speak about time to rest and time off for parents. And at the very end of the session, we will reach such delicate question as problems at work. We will speak about discrimination, harassment, bullying, victimization, and also about the end of employee life cycle. So we will start from job search and end on the termination. And then this cycle goes on and on and on in everyone's life. Okay, not as quick. To make the session more interesting for you, I thought how to approach the topic. I really didn't want to just give you some pieces of legislation, and I wanted to make it a little bit entertaining. And for this purposes, I went to ChatGPT and asked them to create for me a person, imagine person. I called this person Anna. You can see prompts that I asked ChatGPT, and you can see picture of this person that ChatGPT helped me to create. Quite interesting, useful tool, because then I asked ChatGPT also to challenge this picture and change it all the times that I wanted that with Anna something would happen. So please meet Anna. She will be a lawyer. I did pick this job title deliberately. I just wanted to show you a little bit of how it would be for such people as I, for lawyers, how they would go through this as well. It's quite interesting topic. So our Anna started job search. What did she do for the first? She went on LinkedIn, the biggest platform for job offers so far, for me at least. And to make recruiters find her, instead of applying on jobs and getting rejected or waiting a long time, Anna decided to be smart, and she went on LinkedIn and tried to make some settings to help recruiters to find her. So first setting you will see as a step one, it is a LinkedIn headline. So it is that line that everyone will see when they go on your LinkedIn page. And if you can make this line attractive, if you can make this line interesting for recruiters, and if you can put, and what Anna did, yes, she would say, put something catching eye in this line, it would attract recruiters. So what Anna did, she said that she was award-winning employment lawyer, successfully defended against 1 million tribunal claims, expert in employment contracts. So she created a good headline and attracted recruiters. What else Anna did? As a step two, she changed her public profile URL. What is it? It is a direct link to, and instead of having numbers there, if you can see as an example, I provided that here, Anna just put her name in it, and it also improved search for recruiters. When we go to step 3, what Anna did, she marked herself as open to work. LinkedIn now allows you to be open for work, to be visible for everyone. This sign open to work, or just for recruiters. So what Anna did, she picked recruiters only. So she appeared in her LinkedIn profile just as a usual profile, but recruiters would see that she is interested to work, and obviously they reached. What else Anna did? She went to top skills. There is a section with skills on LinkedIn, and there is a section with profile. If you go to profiles, there is an opportunity to add up to 5 relevant skills. And what Anna did, she was very smart. She did some research. She went to few job offers, job adverts, and looked on the skills that they were looking for. So as an example would be in Anna's situation would be contract, it would be employment law, maybe communication, something like that. So Anna picked those skills and added them in her about section. And it also improved LinkedIn search for recruiters. So when they would look for a person suitable for a particular job, obviously her profile will be on the top of it. And Anna also adjusted her experience. I think a lot of people did it who came from Ukraine. We had different job titles, we had different names of work. Sometimes it could include a lot of words, sometimes not understandable for the UK market. So Anna adjusted had job titles that she had previously to job titles that would be used usually in the UK. So to show equivalent and to help recruiters to understand what she did. Yes. Oh, well, Anna was successful and she got this perfect match. She found a job and she received job offer. First thing that everyone when they are trying to get job, first thing that they will get is a job offer before any contract, before anything else. It is something that very close to the contract, but shorter version of it. So it will explain you main features of your work and of course salary. Maybe sometimes it can be location, it can be your work time, it can be other benefits that employer would want to attract a person to work for them and accept this offer. So Anna was smart. Anna, she received an offer, but she didn't hurry to accept it. She wanted to negotiate. She tried to negotiate her salary and she asked for a little bit higher than it was offered. And as her potential employer spent a lot of time to search for her and find her, they accepted her offer, counter offer, and she got a little bit higher salaries that it was previously offered by her employer. So Anna got job offer, and next step would be for her employer to check right to work. So it is a legal obligation, and every single employer should do this check. I think you will have this presentation afterwards. The link is clickable here, and if you press this button, you will see how to get a share code. Let me just see if I need to mute anyone. Sorry. Trying not to get distracted. Okay. To prove right to work, your employer may ask you to send them share code, and also they will want to usually see your documents to check if it is you as well. To get this share code, you will need to just follow this link, and you will have simple questions, and you can get this share code to prove your right to work if necessary. Anna did the same. She provided confirmation of her right to work, and she was given a contract. There are different types of contract available in the UK. It can be full-time or part-time contract. It is the usual work contract. Anna received full-time job. If Anna would look for to work for maybe 2-3 days per week, it could be a part-time contract and part-time job. There can be also fixed term. For example, if Anna would be offered to work only for 6 months to do some particular job, or for example, to cover someone on maternity leave, on parental leave, or something like this. So it can be fixed term contract with a particular end date. Full-time, part-time will have no end date. There can be also work through agency, and there will be usually contract of services that Anna would sign with agency, and then agency would provide her for a particular place of work, and she would work there. Anna could be also freelancer or contractor, so she would search for job all the time, and it will be job of particular type, and job will be fixed. For example, like paint a picture or create website. It can be freelance job. And also different type of contract is 0-hour contract. I know that a lot of people, especially Ukrainians, have this contract, 0-hour contract. I wouldn't say that it is a bad contract, but laborers, they want to get rid of it. So it is upcoming change to legislations, and these contracts, they want to be banned. They call them exploratory. What this contract is, it means that you are working when work is available. It can be, for example, in a restaurant. They can call you when they have work for you as I don't know, as a barman. And if there is a job, they call you, you come, you do job, you get paid. If there is no job, for example, bar is closed, there is another person to do this job, then they have no obligation to give you a job, but you have also no obligation to accept this job. For example, if they are calling you on Friday evening and say, could you go and do this job? You can say, sorry, no, I'm not available. So this 0-hour contract is something that gives you flexibility. Maybe not everyone wants this flexibility, and sometimes people can do usual job and really work this 48 hours every week, but they still may be on 0 hours. I personally do not think that it is a bad type of contract, but people prefer to know what will happen tomorrow. Yes, so maybe that's why these contracts want to get rid of them. Anna received the contract and she started to look inside of it. So how to understand what is in this contract and what is important to look at. First, and unfortunately it's still an issue, the contract should be issued. So Anna had to receive this contract, and everyone else has the right to get a contract. If you do not have contract, you need to go to your employer and ask them to provide you with one. It is their obligation to provide everyone with employment contract. Second thing that Anna would look at would be holidays and leave year. What is leave year? Leave year is that 1 year during which you are taking your leave entitlement. Why it is important to look at it? Because some organization may have leave year starting from January and ending in December. Some companies can have it starting from April and ending in March. Some companies may have even different. They can start leave year from September, for example. It is important to understand because usually in contracts, people are not allowed to carry on their holidays entitlement. So if your leave year ended, but you didn't use some particular days of your holiday, they will just burn unless you agreed with your employer different. That's why it's good to keep an eye on it and always remember about leave year. Holidays. Statutory requirement is 28 days of holidays. We'll speak about this later, but in short, holidays and statutory requirement of holidays can include bank holidays or it can be 28 days statutory and also additionally some bank holidays. It can be also even differently. Here in the UK, employers can't change the holiday entitlement as they like, but you need to get minimum. So 28 days is minimum, but it can always be changed in better way. For example, if employer wants to attract someone to join their organization, they may give a little bit more holidays. Deductions. What is deduction? We have legally obligated deductions, is tax and national minimum wage, but also can be other types of deduction. For example, if you lost your mobile, work mobile, if you damaged some equipment, you need to make sure when you read your contracts that you understand if there are any deductions included, because after you agree on this in writing, then your employer has a right to deduct it. So please, when you read your contract, make sure that you understand what the deductions are and why. It also can be simply that your employer overpaid you and then they deducted it back for some reason whatsoever. They could give you more overtime paid, but you worked less, and they can deduct it later from your salary, next month's salary, for example. Employee handbook. Employee handbook is a big book of policies. It is a part of contracts. That's why you need to make sure that you know what is in this handbook. Usually handbooks are huge. It can be hundreds of pages, but still it is important to understand because it forms a part of your contract. And if an employer can't change your contract without your agreement, they can change employee handbook. So if there are any changes, please pay attention what was changed, and you can always ask your employer if something was changed, why it was done. Restrictive covenant. Restrictive covenant is something that employers use to keep employee with them or to prevent employee from establishing business in competition. So you can have this clause as a restrictive covenant clause or a separate agreement in your contract as well. Our Anna did have it in this situation. Confidentiality. Usually it will be included in every contract, and employers do to protect to protect themselves. Do not see any danger in it unless you are going to speak what you do and discuss all the details with everyone else. So if you are just doing your job, usually people are not breaching confidentiality. Notice. Notice it is something that in Ukraine, for example, we have it established by law. Here, there is also statutory notice of minimum requirements, but often employers can increase this. So notice can be higher than statutory, and please pay attention when you look on notice. There will be separate notice for employer and for employee. So if you want to leave job, you are looking on the notice for employee, and if employer will want to terminate you, they will look for the notice for employer. Look what is it, how long the notice is, so you would understand what to do in case if you decide to leave job. In lieu. In lieu is something that really interesting. It is when instead of waiting this, for example, our Anna received notice 3 months for her and 3 months for her employer. So if she wants to leave job, she will need to give notice 3 months before due date, and for employer the same. But there is a clause that this notice can be paid in lieu. So what can happen? Employer can simply end her job on a particular day and pay her the 3 months in money. So they will not wait the 3 months for her to work. They will simply pay this money to her without her need to work. She also can do the same if it is in contract. If she wants to resign, she doesn't need necessary to work for 3 more months. She can simply pay it. Don't know anyone who would do it, but it is a possibility. So it's interesting to understand. And as I said, that it will be included in contract. If it is not included in contract, there is no statutory, no requirement by law to do this. So what happened next to our Anna? Our Anna worked a little bit, and she 1 month passed, and she got to her favorite part, and every employee's favorite part. She received her payslip. What is important is to look on your payslip and check that you are paid national minimum wage. So national minimum wage is a statutory minimum, less than which can't be paid to an employee. So our Anna received £20 per hour, so she is fine. It's more than 11.44. There is different for different age categories, but they're not as often, and I do not think that we will look at them. New legislation, new changes to law. I read that there is some kind of discussion regarding from 18 to 20 to change this number, but nothing so far. So our Anna received her payslip, and suddenly she got sick. ChatGPT created me a picture of sad Anna in hospital. What should Anna know about sick pay and sick leave? First of all, that book that I told you, employee handbook or Anna's contract would usually have policy, sick policy, sickness policy. Whereas employer would tell Anna what to do if she got sick. It would usually be that Anna would need to contact her manager and let them know what happened and approximately how long she would think that she would need to be on sick. Interesting thing that sick pay can be different. Statutory sick pay, it is something that everyone would receive starting from day 4. So first 3 days will be unpaid, and from day 4, you will receive a statutory sick pay. This sick pay you can see on the screen. It is 116.75, not a huge amount of money, but what is interesting that sometimes in employment contracts, employers can say that they will pay full pay for sickness, or they will pay full pay for sickness during some period to encourage, not encourage, but maybe support employees during their sickness. So statutory sick pay will receive everyone, but if you have something different in your contract, you need to look and to see if there is maybe better conditions for you that you can apply. So Anna got on sick. She needs, if she is on sick more than 7 days, she needs to provide sick note. 7 days in a row, so it can include also weekends. What is interesting here is that some employers can ask to provide sick note even earlier, even less amount of days. But legally it is required. If you are sick 7 days in a row, then you need to provide sick note. If not, if less, then you can just self-certify yourself while you are on leave. So up to 28 weeks per year can be paid this statutory sick pay. Whole year, no, only 28 weeks maximum. Anna got sick, but she quickly recovered. And she went back to office to work. And very good part of the day is a lunch break. Our Anna was wondering what is the minimum or what is the maximum of lunch break, and should she be paid for it? And the answer is no. Lunch break can be usually is unpaid unless, as I stated in your contract, minimum lunch break or any break would be 20 minutes. It's quite rare that someone would be given 20 minutes. Usually it would be an hour unpaid, but minimum is 20 minutes. Working week would be 48 hours maximum. When in Ukraine we have 40 hours, for example. But if you work more, your employer will ask you to sign opt-out agreement. You can opt out this right and work more hours than 48. And as I told you, statutory annual leave is 28 days minimum. Our Anna not only goes to lunch breaks, she also likes to rest. Now she got a good salary if she went on Maldives, but this is also clickable. You can click on it and check your holiday entitlement. This holiday entitlement, if you are not sure, so if it is usual entitlement 28 days, you can calculate approximately this. But if you are not sure, or you start your work during leave year, or you end your work during leave year, and you want to check if your employer paid you correctly, you can use this calculator. It's very easy to use. They will ask you only a few questions and will show you your holiday entitlement. So you can check if you are paid correctly. What Anna did as well, just to see if she got all holidays that she was due to. Okay, our Anna is living her life, enjoying her work, and she got pregnant. She got pregnant, and first thing that she would think about is maternity leave. In the UK, you can take this maternity leave 11 weeks before childbirth, birth moment of childbirth. Or if your baby was born earlier, then automatically it will go through from the day of childbirth. There is not as maybe nice possibility to get long parental leave as we have in Ukraine, but 52 weeks is possible to have for maternity leave. First, how many? First 6 weeks, you will be paid, Anna will be paid 90%, which is quite nice. And then remaining 33 weeks, Anna will be paid statutory maternity pay. It is 184.03, you can see on my slide. And the last 13 weeks are unpaid. But what if Anna's partner wants to take parental leave and to help Anna with baby? We can also do this. There is a possibility to get shared parental leave. It is 50 weeks. And there is an example how you can use it. So Anna can take maternity leave first and then take parental leave if she wants, or her partner can take parental leave, and they will be paid the same amount of money that for maternity, 184.03. There is also interesting possibility to get ordinary parental leave, not shared. Difference here is that this leave is unpaid, and each parent can take it up to 18 weeks until their baby is not baby anymore, their child is 18. So 18 weeks up to the moment your child is 18. This ordinary parental leave, usually people take to when their kids, for example, are sick and they need to take care of them, or there is special need for something exceptional would happen that they would need to spend time with children. So it is not a usual holiday. It is unpaid, but it is connected to your child. And for each child, you will have the same entitlement, 18 weeks. So if you have 3 children, you will have 3 times 18 weeks. It is unpaid, unfortunately, so it's not something that people will overuse or use often, but it is a possibility. In Ukraine, we have paid leave, for example, if you have children, but not here. And we reached, sorry for this, I was speaking too long. Let me look. 44 minutes, we still have some time. I will be very quick. So sadly, our Anna faced difficulties at work. Difficulties can be different, and everyone would take them differently. Someone will think that they could resist, for example, bullying. Some people will struggle. And first thing, what would you need to do if you face bullying, harassment, discrimination, victimization? I will tell you in a moment what is it, is to speak to your manager. It can be informal conversation or it can be official grievance. If there is an official grievance, then your employer will need to take some steps as per ICAS code of practice and arrange a hearing of this grievance and give you decision. What is bullying? There is no statutory definition of bullying, but everyone knows about this. Not everyone can say exactly when it happened, but they can feel this. So it is unwanted conduct. It is something that is offensive, but it is different than we will speak about harassment or victimization. When we speak about harassment, it is conduct related to your protected characteristic. And in the UK, there are 9 protected characteristics. Not all of them are suitable for harassment. I will tell you more about this, speaking about discrimination, but the most common type of harassment is sexual harassment. And when someone is trying to do some, let's say, unwanted conduct towards another person with sexual nature. So with new legislation, there is duty on employer to take steps to prevent harassment. And if you want to, if you are an employer and if you want to know about this more, please contact me. There should be a policy, and new rules are quite strict. There should be protection not only between employees, but also from third parties. So if you have customers, if you have someone that employee would interact with, then it should be included in the policy, and you should take steps to prevent this, which is quite a good step for Parliament, for government, in my opinion. So we will see how it works on practice. Discrimination is something close to harassment, and it is when people are treated differently or unfavorably because of their protected characteristics. It can be sex, it can be sexual orientation, it can be gender, it can be maternity or pregnancy, it can be disability, it can be gender reassignment. Didn't count if I told 9 to you. What did I forget? Okay. Let's not calculate it from the beginning. I will tell you later when I speak. So if you see that something is happening at work and you feel that it is because of your nationality, was what I forgot to tell as a protected characteristic, or because of your religion or belief, also forgot to tell you, this is something that could be treated as discrimination. Could be if you feel that it is because of one of those protected characteristics. You can raise a grievance and discuss it with your employer, with your manager. Most of companies would have zero tolerance to such things. And if they see that something like this happens, they will be very strict to it. There is also such kind of problems, let's say, at work as victimization. This can happen when a person, for example, they raise a grievance and then their manager against their manager or against someone else, and then their manager started to treat them differently. They could give them more work, do not invite them to some events, exclude them from meetings, just because they raised the grievance, or it can be whistleblowing when someone disclosed some information about their employer to relevant organizations, and then their employers got some troubles because of it, or didn't get some troubles, but they started to treat the person differently. So it is also protect you are as employee protected against it, and legislation says that you can go to employment tribunal. You can protect yourself through court. So first instance would be usually that you will need to go to your employer. They would organize meeting with you. They will give you decisions. They will investigate what happened. But if you still think that they didn't make decisions that they should do, you can go to employment tribunal and bring a claim. My work is currently is related to such claims. So I'm doing something that would advocates do in Ukraine. I represent employers in employment tribunals, and one of the most usual types of claims would be discrimination. Together with unfair dismissal that we will speak later. I wanted also to tell you the difference between harassment and discrimination, because it's quite close and usually people can misunderstand it. So when we speak about harassment, it will be in simple words like they hate you because of your protected characteristic. If we speak about discrimination, that someone hates everyone of this protected characteristic. No, so it is quite thin line between these two, and it's quite important to understand just for yourself what if you go to the tribunal, you will need to explain what are you claiming, or if you go to your employer, it would be good to explain them what happened and how you feel about that. Our Anna had problems at work. She didn't go to tribunal. She escalated it to her manager, and the issue was resolved through mediation. So manager offered her to speak to another person. They discussed it openly, and they found solutions that they simply will not work on the same project, for example. So issue was resolved. Anna was happy. She continues to work, but suddenly her employer faces financial difficulties. What was best solicitors, her company, they decided to cut cost, and they decided that they will reduce number of employees. And this will be redundancy. It is a third type of termination. So redundancy happens when there is no job anymore. I will tell you through different types of termination, and I will explain you a little bit about that. So if we say about conduct, a person can be terminated because they did something. For example, our Anna was very mad and she decided to make a fight with someone. So it would be her conduct a reason for dismissal. In such situation, employer would make disciplinary process. So they will investigate what happened, have a meeting, collect witness statements from witnesses, and they may then make decision. And decision could be to terminate. And of course, if she's fighting, who will tolerate such. So another type when employment can be terminated is because of capability. And capability can be just, I put here that Anna is not able to do job, but in fact it can be because Anna is sick and she can't do this job anymore because she is on long-term sickness, or because Anna is not capable to do particular job. So she went to work as a solicitor and she needs to work with ChatGPT. She tried very hard and her employer supported her, but it just doesn't work. She doesn't learn how to use it, and it can be a reason to terminate her contract. Redundancy is, as I said, it's when an employer decides to reduce number of employees for some particular reason, and it's usually to reduce, to cut costs, so to reduce expenses. And if there is a redundancy, what would happen to our Anna? So first of all, Anna would receive a letter informing her that she is on risk on redundancy. Then our Anna would have consultations meetings. It's usually 2-3 meetings to discuss if there is any other job available for Anna, if there is any possibility to keep Anna and to do something else, but to leave her. And after those meetings, if there is no other solution as to dismiss her, there would be a letter that Anna would receive to inform her that she was made redundant. What is nice of it, nice if it can be nice, is a payment. So Anna would receive a payment at the end of this redundancy process, and it can be statutory payment, or sometimes it can be increased payment made by the employer. It can be legal reason. I put here as a driving license, but for Anna it could be, for example, when you have a license to practice as a solicitor, but you lost this license because of some reason. Someone complains that you did something wrong, and you do not have this license anymore. So obviously you can't do jobs that you did before. And some other substantial reason. This interesting part of law when employers can say whatsoever to justify the reason of dismissal. Whatsoever, not whatsoever, because in fact it must be a valid reason for dismissal. Example of this that I had recently case, it could be, for example, if an employee established their businesses in a competition to their employer. So they decided that I will quit this job and I will start another business, and they did it before even terminate their employment. So it can be some other substantial reason as a termination. And I think it's all what I wanted to tell you. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening to me. I hope it wasn't very quick. I tried to be a little bit slow, but I also tried to make it in 1 hour. I'm also giving you QR code to my LinkedIn profile if you want to contact to me. And thank you so much. Thank you, Katya. Thank you all of you for spending this evening with us, for going with us through Anna's employees' life during today's session. So thank you so much for attending.
This station is southwest. Thank you, Julia. So are we ready to take some
This train terminates at south. The next station is northern south.
Thank you for mute, Maria. I can't mute Maria. I think I'll start with my question, and then if anyone else, you either can ask in chat or
I can.
in the session. Julia, you mentioned if you have a problem at work, the first point of contact is your manager. What's the escalation from there? For example, if the manager is the harasser, how should people go about that?
So they should go to manager +1 or to any other managers, particular the same. If there is, for example, two teams that work together, you can speak to another manager, but more resultative will be if you go to manager +1.
Okay. What about HR? At which point should you be contacting HR?
There is no really requirement for you to go to HR. They will not tell you off if you go to them to speak, but your first point of contact in any issue, and more likely that HR would tell you this, that go to speak to your manager. But yes, if you say that it is your manager who is doing this, I would go to manager +1. If you can't go to manager +1 or you are not sure they are working in another location whatsoever, you can always go to HR and ask them who would be the right person to go to.
Okay, great. Did we have any questions in the chat? I haven't checked.
I see one question about child is sick. It can be leave for dependents used and sometimes is even paid. It is a question. And let me just read it one more time.
I'm so sorry. May I ask the question? Because I have to leave.
Okay.
I just want, I had such situation in my life when my ex-employees asked me to do some responsibilities that wasn't mentioned in the contract. What should I do in such case? Because
your employer.
I am an employer.
You are employee or employer?
Найманий працівник, employer.
Employee.
Sorry. So my boss asked me, for example, to do more responsibilities that wasn't mentioned before in the contract.
Probably they would usually say.
So it should be like pay extra money, but they didn't want to do that. They wanted to save, like.
In your job description or in job offer, they would usually say and something else and
Yes.
etc.
Yes,
and in this etc. they can put different things. So here you can argue that you didn't agree to do this. If they still insist, you can raise a grievance. If you raise a grievance, then they will need to go to you to the meeting to investigate what was agreed with you, maybe speak to people who recruited you, and then decide what to do with it. So there will be your chance to say that you were not, you didn't agree to do this. Unfortunately, it is not possible that they will give you whole list of duties. If it is clearly not related to your duties, then no. For example, I am a lawyer and someone will ask me to bring them coffee. So I can say that, no, it's not my job. But if someone will ask me to draft a contract, then I'm usually going to tribunal, then it may be a part of my responsibility. So it depends on what they asked you to do.
No, it was a situation that I worked as a beauty therapist, and they asked me to clean after, to work like a cleaner, like
After everyone, or
after everyone.
and they ask everyone to do this, or just you?
No, everyone, but it wasn't mentioned in the contract at all.
It would be
Yeah, it's complicated question. I just want to ask.
They can't force you.
Mm-hmm.
If you say that I will not do it, they can't force you, and you can show them that it wasn't in your contract. But do you want to go against what their rules established between themselves? It can be that they had some kind of meeting between employees and they agreed to this. So
Okay.
if one doesn't want, you can go together and say, please hire a cleaner for us. If everyone is happy to do this, it is unlikely that even if you raise a grievance to your employer, they may simply or tell you that it will be done by someone else, but you will need to still stay there and work with them. How do you think that will other
Yeah.
So we need to think about practicalities as well.
Yeah, we sorted it out perfectly, but I just want to know, is it possible or not, or I have to talk with that
Do not have to.
occasions in advance, maybe.
You do not have to accept it, and if it is not related, you can always say that no, it wasn't agreed between us.
Okay.
Simple.
Thank you.
There was another question in the chat.
I will come back to any statutory requirements regarding maternity leave. We went back. There are statutory requirements regarding maternity leave that you need to be. Let me go back there. You need to be employed by your your employer as employee. It doesn't matter how long you are. I think we would need to go to government websites to check it. I didn't check it before this, but But in fact, the main requirement would be that you will need to be a pregnant person. So it can't be taken if you delegate this duty to be a mother to someone else. I do not know how it's in English, but about surrogate mothers, if it would be someone else who is giving birth. So the first requirement would be that you would need to be mother. If it is what you wanted to know. I see one more, Nina. I wanted to go back to child is sick, it can be leave for dependence. Yes, it can be. And I see Nina has a question.
Hi, do you hear me?
Yes.
So my question is the next. I had contract where was includes phrase we won't pay overtime job. And in the interview, I asked about this. They said me, we work sometimes overtime, but in the practice it was every day and weekends. And it's not just me, because there was a lot of work and crazy deadlines. So after a few months, I knew other colleagues have payment, overtime payment, but not me. such as I was in the probation period and assistant, intern. What should what need to do in this situation? Because it wasn't any time to rest, to improve some skills, just I don't know. It was horrible. I burned completely in this job. So what could you advise in this situation?
Go to your employer, and first of all, I'm really sorry that you got in this situation. I know how hard we work as Ukrainians. We really used to work hard, but sometimes it can be too much job that you need to stay overtime, that you have too much to do. And this is why when you need to contact your manager and explain that I have job, this amount of job, I have 8 hours, I can't do this in 8 hours. So, or pay me overtime or give me less job to do. So it is something that I would advise to do. If you want to be paid overtime and you have this clause in your contract that it is not paid, that you need to discuss it with your manager and ask them to exclude this clause and pay to be paid overtime if they pay it to someone else. So if it is usual practice in your the place where you work for your employer and others are paid overtime, you can always ask for this. It's also, you need to remember that you can't work more than 48 hours per week. If you work more, then your employer would need you to sign opt-out agreement. So if you didn't sign this agreement, but you work more than 48 hours, you need to flag it to your employer and say that, look, I work more than I should work. So please do something with it. And the usual solution to this would be less job for you to do, or give you some training how to do it quicker. So you do not necessarily need to go and say with negative here. You can come and say that, could you please help me to organize, how would you organize my working time, and show them example of your work, and show them that it is not possible to do this amount of work during, for example, 8 hours if you or that particular times that you work for. So they can see it themselves and understand, or it may happen that they simply did not realize how much you have work to do. And if you do not say about this, they will still not know. So first thing that you need to do is to speak about this and also explain why.
The problem was I have one lead manager. It was really I was surprised because every project I have some other manager. I never know who ask to help and what to ask. I haven't any trainings. And maybe yes, and my handbook, work handbook, and pay slip. I just they send me just maybe after 3 remindings from me, maybe after 2 months. So I don't know. It was my first job here in the huge company, and now I'm really afraid to have the same situation in another company, and really what to do. What is the best way? What to do in the start of the. If you got the offer, how to understand the company environment, because it was very competitive company, and anyone's didn't help. So what to do in this situation?
Go to Glassdoor Google their name, go to LinkedIn, search for their employees, try to connect them, look what they post if you don't want to connect them or you do not think that they will be honest when they answer. Usually people are quite open and they will tell you what you want to know. If you say that I'm considering to go there and I got an offer, for example. So first, do your research. I appreciate that it is not pleasant when you need to remind your employer all the time that, can I have my handbook? Some people will remind employers, can I have my contract, please? So make sure that you have this all and also show them that you know your rights. If you come to them and say that I need this, and this, and ask questions. If you see that something is wrong, ask why. Why is it in this way? Why? Could you explain? Put it in writing. It will also help because then when you receive answer in writing, person will double think what they will answer to you before they write. I see another question. What is the best way to find job via Indeed recruitment agent or an agency? I feel that LinkedIn is a future of network. So if you like Instagram or TikTok, please look on LinkedIn as your Instagram or TikTok for job search. How I found my job, I went to a lot of different events. And during these events, I met different people and asked them to help me. And one of them did help. Also, it's very, very realistically possible to get a job through LinkedIn. And if you settle correct settings on LinkedIn, you will make recruiters to search for you, not you search for job. So I would go to LinkedIn as a first instance. And also there is a good possibility to connect people before you apply to job or to connect people from this organization. Let me look, we are running out of time. So I can speak about this a long time.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll definitely do a separate LinkedIn session. It's a big question. Separately, we're going to do a CV section, just looking at LinkedIn, because people fill out the form. I would say 50% of people don't have LinkedIn, and the ones that do are not using it fully. So I think it's a gold mine of opportunities for Ukrainian community to get onto LinkedIn to get the job that they want.
Yes, we didn't use to it, but it's quite a good tool, maybe better than Indeed.
And you see people, it seems like obviously may not be used in Ukraine as much because you have people with very interesting careers who've moved here, but they sort of don't know yet how to use LinkedIn. Yeah, so good idea for you. I do not see any more questions unless someone else wants to ask. Great. Well, thank you so much, Julia. It's been so useful to hear this wealth of information of what we should be knowing as an employee, and especially how to tackle any bumps along the road, and most importantly knowing you're right. Thank you so much, Julia. Thank you for joining. Enjoy your evening. Thanks everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.